daughter's 6th birthday. She wanted a princess party, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. First, you're going to go to Home Depot and get 3 of these 1/2-inch 4x8 foot insulation foam boards. And you're going to take the first one and cut it down to the size that you want your widest castle. I wanted mine 6 feet, so I cut 2 feet off the top of the board. That gave me my point for that castle was at 6 foot. As you can see, my board is a little slimmer, but that's because 4 foot wide board wouldn't fit in my car. So I was in the parking lot of Home Depot cutting maybe about 5 inches off of the side of this board, but it still came out exactly how I wanted it, so no biggie there. Please get a fresh knife on your box cutter because these are not, they're easy to cut, but they're hard at the same time. And a fresh blade will get you a deeper cut. After you cut it to the length that you want it, you're going to find the middle of the width of that board, pretty much where your point is going to be, and then you're going to find the angle at which you want your castle to be. It's totally up to you. Eyeball it first. I just eyeballed it, and once I got it where I thought I would like it, which ended up being 30 inches from the center, then I went ahead and cut on the inside of the ruler. I just cut that whole corner off. You start with like a shallower cut and then do a second or even sometimes third pass through that same line that you just cut. And you just do the same thing to the same side, to the other side. You find that 30-inch angle or however many inches you did on the other side, and you cut on the inside of the ruler to cut that corner off, and that'll give you your angle. And for your 2 skinnier castle pieces, all I did was cut the second 4x8 board into half. So I had 2 foot by 8 foot boards, and those 2 became my skinnier pieces of the castle. And you literally do the same thing. I wanted those skinnier pieces to be 7 feet tall, so I cut 1 foot off the top of the board. Again, you do the same thing where you find the middle, mark your middle piece so that you know where your point will be, and then you angle down your ruler to whatever you like for these skinnier pieces. I ended up doing 18 inches this time around. Take a look at them side by side. If you like how they look, then you go ahead and make that third piece, which is the exact same way as you made the second piece. Next, you're going to grab a piece of that third board that you bought and you're going to make some stands for the backdrops. I didn't have like a method for this. I was really just cutting, to be honest, and I made what I thought looked like a stand. I did one for the two skinnier pieces, one each, and then for the wider piece of the castle, I did two stands for that one. Once you're done making your stands, we can get to the painting stage. There's this clear film on top that you want to take off before you start painting. Um, and if your cuts around the board aren't smooth, then you go ahead and get a piece of sand block and just lightly sand around the edges to make it smooth. Then you'll grab your paint. I used a white sample size Behr paint for this one. I would recommend getting two. I only used white and I used these castles indoors, so you couldn't really tell. But if I would have used them outdoor, you could tell that I needed a second coat. So I would recommend getting two. Um, but this board, I used the roller and a pan, which worked fine, but I felt like I didn't get as much use of my paint as I wanted to because a lot of it dried up on the pan. However, it did get me through. Once you got the full thing painted, you'll get a paintbrush and paint along the edges of your castle so that it's not purple and it's white and matches the top layer. Go ahead, set that one to the side, let it dry, and start working on your skinnier pieces. You're going to do the same thing. Take that film off, sand if you need to. And this time I kind of just poured the paint in a line and rolled from there, which I thought worked better. And I used less paint or got more paint for the job, I guess you could say. So we made it to the third board, and this time I kind of just swirled the paint on, which by far was the best option. Do it this way. I got through it faster, and again, I got more use out of the paint. Now, while these are drying, we are going to cut the gold trim that goes on the outside of the castle. Just use some scrap, and I honestly didn't measure these. I kind of just put it up against the castle to see like how long I wanted it to be. And then for the square cutouts, I just did every 3 inches. Here I'm marking out the 3 inches, every 3 inches down the board, and I will use those as guides to make the crown molding. Once you finished all three, again, you want to take that clear plastic piece off the top and then start spray painting. If you use gold spray paint, it will bubble, the foam will bubble, but I liked it because I thought it gave it an old antique look. If you want a more sleek look, I would recommend just using regular gold paint. Do not use spray paint because it will make the foam bubble. Now, as these dry, go ahead and start putting your stands on. The back part of the foam board also has that plastic cover, so go ahead and take that off, and then you literally just hot glue these stands on. Make sure that your boards are upright and where they're supposed to be on the stand, and literally just hot glue all of those on. Again, I made one each for the tall boards and then two stands for the wider board. Once you have all your stands on, you can hot glue your gold crown moldings on. And I just did corner to corner, hot glued it, did all three that way. I ended up adding my daughter's name with removable vinyl, and that really like made it pop and made it more customized. She loved it, I loved it, and I hope you guys enjoy it.